In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a rolling text animation in After Effects. Let's get to it. Here we are in After Effects. I'm going to start by creating a new composition. It will be 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second, 5 seconds for the duration. Click OK. Then select the type tool up top and type something. I'll do rolling. For the font, I'm using Montserrat Black with a size of 200 pixels in all caps. Now I'm going to select the text layer on the timeline, press S on the keyboard and increase the scale of the text slightly, and then I'll align it to the center of the composition. After you've aligned the text, let's right click on the text layer, select Pre-Compose, you can call this text, and click OK. Then double click on the pre-comp, and here we're going to select the region of interest icon and create a rectangle around our text. And make sure you're keeping a minimum amount of distance between the borders of the text and the rectangle that you're going to create. So something like this should work. After that, let's go up to Composition and select Crop Comp to Region of Interest. Now let's go back to the render composition, and here we need to create duplicates of this text layer for every character that we have, except the first one since we already have one layer. So in this case I have 7 letters and I'm going to create 6 duplicates. So select the text comp on the timeline and press Ctrl D or Command D if you are on the Mac, and create as many duplicates as you need. So here I have 7 text layers, and now we need to isolate each letter into its individual layer. And we can do that by applying a mask. So here I'm going to select the 7th layer, so that will be the first one. And I'm going to select the rectangle tool up top and slightly zoom in and create a rectangle around our shape. And you don't need to be precise on the top and the bottom of the mask, just make sure you don't include 2 letters into one mask. Be precise on the sides. So something like this should work. Then I'm going to select the next text layer. And now I'm going to hold Control, then left click in the middle of the O and create a mask. This will give us a symmetrical mask. So something like this, then go up for the next one. And after you've created the mask, let's switch back to the selection tool. And here you can go ahead and label the text layers accordingly if you need to do so. Now let's apply offset effect to the first layer, or the 7th layer in this case. So open effects and presets and search for offset. Then add this effect to the 7th layer. Then head over to the effect controls panel and create a keyframe for Shift Center 2 at the default value. Then press U on the keyboard to see this keyframe on the timeline. And let's move this keyframe forward to 4 seconds. Now in effect controls, let's select the offset effect and press Ctrl C to copy it. Then select all other layers except the last one that already has the offset effect, and press Ctrl V to paste that same effect here. Alright, now if we expand this up, so to give ourselves some space, we can select all layers. So click somewhere and press Ctrl A to select all. Press U on the keyboard to see the keyframes. And here we have all keyframes at 4 seconds. Now let's move the time indicator to the start of the timeline. And here we need to set the starting Y value for the offset for each letter. And in this case, I want the first letter to roll from top to bottom, the second letter from bottom to top, and I want to continue the sequence throughout the letters. So let's select the first one, the R, and to move the letter up, I'm going to decrease the Y position, like that, and I'll set it to -2000. That should be good enough. And when I type this -2000, I'm going to select it and press Ctrl C to copy this value. And I'm going to paste it into the 5th letter's position for the Shift Center 2, like that, then for the 3rd, and for the 1st. And now for the letter O, I'm going to increase this value to 2200. Positive one, not the negative. Also copy it, Ctrl C, and now let's paste it into the 4th layer and into the 2nd layer. So now if we do the preview, we have this kind of rolling. And here we have all of the keyframes on the timeline. I'm going to drag and select all of them. Right click any of them, keyframe assistant, easy ease, or you can press F9 as a shortcut to easy ease the keyframes. Then while the keyframes are highlighted, go into the graph editor. Right click, make sure edit speed graph is selected, so you should see this kind of graph. Now I'm going to select the second point, this one, you should see the yellow handles, and I'm going to drag this yellow handle all the way to the left, and then I'll drag and select the first point, and also drag this handle all the way to the left. And this is how the graph should look, so we have a very fast animation at the start, and then it'll slowly come to the end. So let's exit the graph editor, and if we do the preview, we will see that the text is visible at the start, and we don't want the text to be there, we want to reveal it in some way. And for this, I'm going to use an adjustment layer. So let's go up to Layer, New Adjustment Layer. Make sure it is above all text layers. Then I'm going to search for CC Jaws in Effects and Presets and add this to the adjustment layer. Now head over to the Effect Controls panel, and I'm going to set the height to be 0, and then make sure you are at the start of the timeline, and set completion to 100% and create a keyframe on it, then go 5 frames forward and set completion to 0. Now press U on the keyboard while the adjustment layer is selected to see the keyframes, drag and select them both, and press F9 to easy ease them. And this will give us like a simple reveal and it'll look very nice and seamless. And the only thing we're missing here is motion blur. Then we can apply CC Force Motion Blur to the same adjustment layer, but make sure you place motion blur above CC Jaws, and then set motion blur samples to 16 for better motion blur. And now if we preview this, it will be a bit heavy because we have added motion blur, but you can see it looks a lot better now. At this point, I would love to add like a slow zoom out effect throughout the animation, and we can easily do that by selecting all layers. So drag and select them all, right click any of them and select pre-compose. You can call this whatever you want. Click OK. And here I'm going to place the time indicator to the start of the timeline. Press S on the keyboard to bring up the scale properties of this final composition. Set scale to 125% and create a keyframe. Then go to the point where the rolling stops to 4 seconds and set scale to 100. Now I'm going to select the last keyframe and press F9 to easy ease it. This way the zoom doesn't stop abruptly, but it stops very slowly. And at this point I'm going to add a background. So let's go up to layer new, solid, name this one BG, and for the color, I'll select very dark blue. There's something like this. Click OK and make sure you place it below the composition, so we have a background now. And also let's add a glow effect to the animation, and for that we are going to use an adjustment layer. So again, layer, new adjustment layer, and let's search for glow in effects and presets, the stylized glow, add it to the adjustment layer. Then in effect controls, I'm going to leave the first glow as it is, then select it and press Ctrl D to duplicate it. Now for the glow 2, let's increase the glow radius to 500, then select the glow, Ctrl D again, duplicate it. And for the glow 3, I'm going to set glow radius to 1000 and glow intensity to 0.2. And this will give us like a very nice and bright glow. So after that, the animation is complete, and let's go ahead and preview it. And here we have a complete rolling text animation created in After Effects. Thank you guys for watching.